Hey everybody, it's Mike from Hear the Watchmen. I can't tell you enough about what this day has been all about. Pastor Paul Bagley preached this morning, knocked it out of the park, tore the cover off the ball for Jesus, and I just got out of the pool with him baptizing, I don't know, maybe 100 people. Just an amazing experience. And so I wanted to bring you one of our attendees today who's got some interesting stuff that she's working on. Really interesting stuff, as a matter of fact. We're going to try and have her back to Hear the Watchmen more and more. It's Rebecca from Nashville. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, thank you.
What has happened to you at this conference?
Oh, God told me right after the Knoxville conference, I was watching you on YouTube, and I saw the Dallas conference. He said, "Go, you're going," and so I arranged it all. And what I'm working on is, well, first of all, the conference has been great. Everything has been just so encouraging, and it's nice to be with like-minded people who understand what's happening in end times. And I've been studying as
Like you're not a nut, right?
Right. I'm with the other fruitcakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody knows I'm a fruitcake, and and I've been persecuted some for that.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I'm a therapist, and I'm working in the addictions field primarily in the secular world. And so when you stand out as a Christian, and especially when you stand on deliverance, which is part of my calling, then you get labeled extra fruitcake.
Well, now let me interrupt for a second. That's very interesting what you're doing. You work in the addiction field.
Yes.
In Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing? Are you seeing more and more of the
opiate?
Yes. What do they call that now?
Well, just the fentanyl overdoses.
Right. And you're seeing more and more of that, aren't you?
Right. It's just daily, weekly.
And it's demonic.
It's very demonic. It's very demonic. The opiates, what it does to the person's body chemistry, and how it depletes their dopamine systems for the feel-good factor. Like Paul Begley just said, if you lose your joy, you lose your strength. And it's just such a powerfully addictive drug. And what I'm understanding is that that the people that are manufacturing the drugs, all the opiates now have fentanyl in them. It's just that some manufacturers are more cognizant of the dosage so that they don't kill people. Because I had one friend in the addictions field that said, all these people dying is really a bad business plan for the drug dealers.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mean to laugh, but it is a bad plan.
It is.
Right.
So they've got it so they can just get somebody right up to the edge.
Right.
But a lot of people that have been using, like, let's say oxys or roxys or hydrocodones, they're dosing themselves to what they're used to, but when they get fentanyl, they've overdosed themselves even though they think they are taking a minimal dose. And it's just such bad news and such dangerous territory. And I mean, it is an epidemic in this country.
Well,
We've got to fight it.
Is there, for this fentanyl, is there a medical use for it, or is this a street drug that there's no other use for?
Well, in the past, it's been used as a late-stage cancer treatment.
Is that right?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
For people that are in serious pain.
Sure.
Fentanyl lollipops and things like that.
Right. But now.
Yeah, now.
And what do you see in terms of, you're a therapist, in your community of other therapists?
Mm-hmm.
What is their response to your Christian roots?
Blackball.
Can we say fruitcake?
Yeah. Well, some people may align with what I say, but people are, I've received some public commentary on some of the deliverance work that I've done, and I had an internet radio show called Addiction in America on Voice America Radio, and I did some interviews with some exorcists, and so I think people have heard about this. And I was also, well, anyhow, I don't want to talk about myself. Anyhow, basically, the addictions field is probably the epitome of spiritual, not religious. And what that means is New Age, not Christian.
Exactly, I agree.
Yeah, and so I can't stand that in the culture of 12-step programs, because 12-step programs were birthed from the Oxford group, which was basically a holy roller group, and then actually there was some secret society stuff that came in and took that and formed AA, so that God, as you understand Him, can be anything. And Proverbs 3:5 says, "Lean not to your own understanding." And that's exactly what the 12 step is about, is lean to your own, God is just something larger than you. And hopefully, people they have to start somewhere,
Right.
When they're
Right.
in a faithless place. But hopefully they don't have to start with something that's just slightly more powerful than themselves. They can start with a big God, Jesus Christ. It's got, we need big power tools for what's going on in the world today.
So, I mean, I guess what I want to ask you, Rebecca, is for the people that are out there watching us today, the people that listen, they have loved ones who are addicted. I was a hope to die heroin addict 20 years ago, smoking. I never would shoot heroin because that would make me really an addict, right? So I smoked it. Okay, so, but I was a hope to die heroin addict who finally got free from that through Jesus. In today's world, if you're a mother or a father and you have a loved one that's going through this, is there hope?
Mm-hmm. Yes, there's hope. But what I would say to parents and loved ones, every addict that starts to go down the tubes has to have an enabler. They need to look at themselves as being part of the problem and become part of the solution, which is tough because the addict has the loved one caught between hope and fear. Hope that when they go on the upswing that they can maintain it, and fear that if they do one thing to upset them, that the whole house of cards will tumble and it'll be all their fault. So Al-Anon, I always encourage Al-Anon, and not being part of the problem. Just do not enable, do not give money, do not provide a soft, comfy place for them to kill themselves.
In my case, and this is just me, folks, I was saved on the floor of a jail room cell, period. I repented. I was saved on that floor. I never touched another drug from that day 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago, till today. I did, just to make sure nobody attacks me, when I broke my leg, yes, I let them give me the medication in the hospital, but I didn't take any medication home. So, but I was just saved by Jesus. So the 12-step thing for me didn't really resonate. God resonated with me. Are you a proponent of the 12-step programs, or do you think maybe we should lean more towards Jesus?
I'm a proponent of Jesus Christ. What happens in my experience with people that are in the 12-step world, they have a hard time truly conceptualizing the character of God, although He tells us in the Bible what His character is. And it's kind of considered maybe advanced knowledge or advanced spirituality if you go into some of these Christian things. So there's a bit of a there's people that are so anti-Christian, because what's interesting to me, and what's sort of a paradox or ironic, is that in the 12 steps you are supposed to work on forgiveness and getting rid of resentments, and people are very resentful at their Christian parents who may have hurt them. Everybody hurts, everybody, right?
Everybody's got,
so there's this big resentment against the church, and I stopped going to 12-step meetings for a long time because I was so tired of hearing people downgrade the church, and what happens in the rooms is that everybody laughs. When somebody makes a Christian joke, everybody laughs. I just couldn't take it anymore. And I love Celebrate Recovery and some of these programs.
But let's be clear. Okay, we want all you to know, we are not saying don't go to a 12-step program. We're just saying for us, it was a different path that we took. I think that my hat's off to all the people that attend AA and NA and SA and whatever A that they go to. My hats are off to them. Just for me, I needed God, and I needed I didn't need a rock, that rock could be your higher power. I'm sorry, no, I need Jesus.
Right.
So now, in your deliverance ministry, how did you wind up doing the deliverance ministry, and what do you do?
Okay. I've been an LCSW, which is, social worker in private practice for 27 years in Nashville. And my business is, it's my name, but it's also Cohesion. The name birthed from, God gave me this name. Cohesion is all parts being put together in a whole.
Right.
Okay. But what happened is I was just doing my general counseling job, and I was working with a kid and his family, and not fruitcakes, just normal, average people. And
Not like you and me.
Yeah, right, right. And the kid got possessed, literally possessed, and the house got haunted. And after I had been working with him for a significant amount of time, so I'm like, gee, we've got to figure out what happened here. So I started, that got me on a road of contacting some people who knew about deliverance, and also it got me searching out some deliverance ministers. And I say that summer, which was like summer of 2007, God knocked out my FM radio. So, on those AM radio stations, you'll find them.
Right.
So I found some deliverance ministers. I got interested for myself. I sought deliverance for myself. I saw the power of it. And then, I got the fire for it, and I started bringing in, people that were also interested. And when you see that freedom happen and that spirit comes out, and then the person, they have to maintain their deliverance. That's huge. Not just getting free, but staying free, because it's about obedience.
Amen. Amen.
And so in my counseling practice, it's still very much a secular practice. People are coming to me from insurance companies.
Sure.
And so I can't just start.
That's just life.
Right. I say,
Right.
average people, average problems
Right,
for the
right,
most part,
right.
although I deal with some some
Yeah,
other
I'm
types
sure.
of fruitcakes,
Right, yeah, right.
Like I was on an episode of My Strange Addiction where a woman's eating dead husband's ashes, which is,
It's a little out there.
yeah. It was a little out there,
A
but
little Dexter.
it's easier for people to look at something like that and say that's demonic.
Right.
But when you have spirits of rejection and addiction and depression and oppression that so many people have, these are also spiritual maladies that can be healed through deliverance. And the thing is, deliverance is like a power tool. Like what a secular counselor could work with somebody to get the person free of, they'll never have the end product that they get with Jesus Christ. Never.
Right.
Yeah, and so plus you can, if somebody's going to get free, they can get free so much faster, and it saves time. And to me, that's like God restoring what Satan took.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
they wasted so much time, and now, boom,
Well, listen, Rebecca, we're going to have to wrap this up. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you came here. I want to have you
so
back
much.
on the
Yes,
show so
thank
we
you
can
so
maybe
much.
we can do like a regular,
Oh, that'd be great.
once a week deal where we can talk about what's really going on.
Right, in the addiction world especially.
Yeah,
and
especially.
in
So thank you, and God
All
bless
right,
you.
thank you for having me.
So listen, that's going to wrap it up, folks, for this edition of the Watchman's Report. Remember, like I always say when I close this show, there is absolutely nothing you can't do with Jesus in your heart, except nothing at all. Get out there, get busy, activate your faith, do like Rebecca, reach out, help God's children. That's all He wants you to do. God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you next time here on the Watchman's Report.